Today we are starting a new chapter. This is chapter 11, which means we only have one more chapter after this one. In this chapter, we will learn all about area and perimeter. In this lesson, we will focus specifically on modeling perimeter. The lesson objective for today says, students will be able to explore perimeter of polygons by counting units on grid paper. We can see now that we only have one vocabulary term for the day, which is perimeter. Perimeter means the distance around the outside of a figure. This will make more sense as we model and practice perimeter. We are going to start with practicing perimeter by using some grid paper. On the grid paper, we are going to draw a figure that is 2 units wide and 3 units long. That means 2 units down and 3 units across. But we have to make sure that we close the shape off into a rectangle. Now you can see that figure in blue. This may look similar to what we already know as an array. Now that we want to find the perimeter of this object, that means we want to find the distance around the object. We are going to do that by counting the units around the outside of the figure. Let's try it together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've counted all of the sides, which means that is the perimeter. So the perimeter of this shape is 10 units. As long as you remember that the perimeter means to count all of the unit sides all the way around the figure, that means you can count until you've counted all of them. Let's try another example. This time we will start with our grid paper just like last time, but we will draw a figure that is 3 units down and 4 units across, or 3 units wide and 4 units long. There's our figure in blue. Now it's time to find the perimeter. Remember, that just means we need to count the unit sides around the outside of the big figure. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That means the perimeter of this figure is 14 units. Here we go again with another example. I'm sure that you are picking up on these pretty fast because all we have to do is count. Again, we're going to start with our grid paper. This time we want a figure that is 5 units wide and 3 units long. After our figure is drawn, it is time to start counting the distance. There's our figure in blue, so we're ready to start counting the distance around the figure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That means the perimeter of this figure is 16 units. Notice that I keep saying units after the number. It's because sometimes we might have a different unit of measurement, but this time they didn't specify, so it's just units. But we have to have more than a number. We have to have 16 units. Now we are going to move on to a question that is going to have you pause and think. When I say go, I want you to push pause on the video so that you can solve the problem. The question says, how would you find the perimeter of a rectangle that is 5 units wide and 6 units long? Remember, in just a second, I'm going to say go and you are going to pause the video and solve the problem. It may be helpful for you to touch and count at the same time. I will give the figure to you for this example. When the answer is in your head, push play to see if you did it correct. Ready, go. Alright, now that you have solved the problem, you are ready to check your answer. Remember, I gave you the figure, so you were supposed to count on your own. You should have found out that the perimeter is 30 units. We are going to move on to our last 2 examples. These 2 examples are going to ask us to use the same skill to find the perimeter, but the figures will be irregular shapes, or shapes that are not perfect rectangles. Here's the first one. Now we are ready to start counting the units that make up the perimeter. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That means that the perimeter of this figure is 12 units. We were still able to find the perimeter of this object even though it wasn't a perfect rectangle. We just had to find the place we wanted to start and then count the distance of each unit around the object until we got back to where we started. Let's try one last example. This one is another irregular shape, but you can do it. Remember, pick your starting point and count the units until you get back to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The perimeter is 16 units. You are ready to try on your own now. Make sure that you take your time on your learning check. You can do amazing.